Hey everybody, it's Phil from Zaid Comics, the co-creator and writer of the upcoming graphic novel Magic Hop that we're launching on Indiegogo in August, and just one half of the two best looking brothers in all of comics. And today we're coming at you with some sad news in comics. It is rumor that's been going around this week that Vertigo is soon to be no more. The long-running DC Comics imprint, Vertigo, responsible for numerous successful titles and introductions to crazy creators from across the years, some of the likes of Alan Moore, Grant Morrison, and I mean, I'll just look over my shelf here, the Saga of Swamp Thing, Hellblazer, John Constantine, of course, Doom Patrol, um, The Watchmen, V for Vendetta, and the list goes on and on. We're going to get into a Bounding into Comics article right now talking about this unfortunate rumor, and let's get straight into it. So Bounding into Comics put out this article June 4th, and written by John F. Trent. The new rumor that's talking about DC Comics imprint Vertigo is might be shutting down soon, and he goes on to list some good reasons why. But as you can see, founded in 1993 under Karen Berger, she's responsible for introducing the America to Grant Morrison and Alan Moore. Now these guys got started in Vertigo and launched it to be that gritty, cerebral imprint that we know and love from DC Comics. Preacher was a Vertigo book. Animal Man was a Vertigo book. And as you can see, exploring sexuality, nudity, profanity, very controversial topics at the time. In fact, the Saga of Swamp Thing was one of the first books to break the Comics Code Authority for having a kind of incestual interaction between Abigail Arcane and Anton, the evil Anton Arcane, even though he was in her ex-lover's body spiritually. But we see DMZ, Doom Patrol, Swamp Thing, iZombie, Hellblazer, V for Vendetta, 100 Bullets, American Vampire, Fables, Y the Last Man, and Sandman. Some heavy hitters there. And why is this happening? Well, in the last few years, Vertigo hasn't been getting those heavy hitters anymore. The creative teams just aren't there. Of course, in the past 20 years, they've moved on to bigger and better things, leaving the void of those great, gritty titles that Vertigo is known for. Now, personally, the last thing that I really enjoyed from Vertigo came out last year, a year and a half ago, called Deathbed. I thought that book was really fun. It was a mini-series. And check that out. It's very wacky and out there, and it sticks to the Vertigo frame of mind. I also liked The Imaginary Fiends by Tim Seeley. Thought that was pretty cool. But as we see, Mark Doyle, who is the senior editor at Vertigo, brought on some creators that just weren't respecting the company and respecting the consumers. So you can see here's a list of things that Bounding into Comics lists off. Robbie Rodriguez tweeting an unsolicited picture of his extremities at DC Comics former artist Ethan Van Sciver. He took a picture of some profanity body part of himself and sent it to Uncle Ethan, and super unprofessional. Zoe Quinn takes to social media calling Republicans evil. We have some anti-white racism, attacking Donald Trump supporters. Richard Pace advocates businesses should deny service to those he deems active fascists in power. And it's just the political standpoints driven into the consumers by these creators disrespecting the company and the consumers themselves, probably making sales drop and leaving their art unpurchased. And this last one is pretty big because I personally am a subscriber to the DC Universe streaming app, and I have been since it launched. And I remember I used to watch the DC Daily episodes that they would put up, and they actually had Eric Esquivel on there talking about his new Vertigo book called Border Town. And they pushed him a lot. They had him on a couple different times talking about his book. You know, he's really liked to talk about how he used to work at Hot Topic. So that was a big personality trait for him, I guess. He was accused of sexual misconduct, and his book Border Town was canceled due to this, and he would deny any accusations. So the editorial and hiring choices by Mark Doyle led to seemingly rumors that Vertigo will be canceled, and that is so unfortunate. Vertigo is one of my favorite parts of DC Comics. DC having the diversity and the eclectic genres that you can go and pick up a Superman book, and then you can also go pick up a Vertigo book. They could be in the same universe. You could have John Constantine showing up in Justice League Dark and having his own book being Hellblazer. And as you can see right here, it gives you the numbers. Of course, comics always being recorded in their sales. Goddess Mode shipped 17,000, and the second issue shipped at 8,000. So we see big drop-offs. Border Town 15, and now they're dropping to 8. We have Hexwives, which was pushed a lot. It was pushed by the DC Universe streaming service, same as Border Town, and also pushed by their social media. I've seen a lot of promotions for Hexwives dropping off similarly. The numbers don't lie, and they spell disaster for Vertigo. So as you could see, all these books didn't do well. And recently, Commissars Pro Secrets, Ethan Van Sciver put out a video talking about getting residuals, or what do you call it? Like, you get payout rights if you sell more than 40,000 issues of a comic. And the mainstream comics, a lot of them, like Flash, Green Lantern, they're not selling like they were 5-10 years ago. And it's not looking good. And I think an issue now is they're not capitalizing on their IPs that are very successful in other mediums, because right now we should have a Swamp Thing book. We should have a hardcore horror Swamp Thing book in the style of Alan Moore and Stephen Bissette from the 80s right now, to capitalize on the launch of the new Swamp Thing TV show that is killing it. I mean, only one episode has been out since this recording, but it is awesome. We should have those weird, creepy horror books, not these, oh, we're going to, bash things that people don't like books. Like, I know Richard Pace, he was doing that, that Jesus superhero comes back to Earth to learn about humanity book at Vertigo. Didn't really seem like a Vertigo book. Didn't seem gritty. Didn't have the art style of a Vertigo book, and just was there for no reason. And that book actually got canceled, given back to the creators, and now I think they're publishing it at, last I heard was Devil's Due is publication is going to publish that book. So just seemingly not a lot of creativeness under Mark Doyle's regime, and he may have been just hiring people that thought similarly to him. Maybe he's hiring a bunch of yes men and didn't get a lot done. And on top of that, these people's public personas are bashing the consumer and being pretty extreme in that right. turning off a lot of the public to the imprint. Um, I didn't see anything come out that interested me in the past year from Vertigo since the ending Deathbed. I think that book was really fun, and I think it was promoted very well. It was a very interesting premise, and that team really knocked it out of the park for me. But since then, I haven't really heard anything that was worth picking up from it. Vertigo, like I said, one of my favorites. I love Swamp Thing, one of my top 3 favorite comic characters of all time. John Constantine, you know, The Watchmen. These books are iconic and legendary, and we are not getting that anymore from this imprint. Without Karen Berger's been gone for a while, but she was running it because it was hers. She wanted it to succeed. She handpicked these talents from across the pond, brought them over here, and they're legends now. We need that person in charge that could spot out talent from a mile away and make them into comic book stars. And because of these actions, it seems like Vertigo is not going to last a long time. And this, to me, is a big indication of the decline in the mainstream comics industry. And if they don't change something quick, it's not going to be good for those guys. So I really hope they turn around, pick up some new talent, some passionate, hardworking people that want to make a name for themselves, because we're here. We're here. We're doing our own thing right now, but there's a ton of us. We're happy where we are, doing our own thing, and I guess we're just going to have to watch Vertigo go down the tube, and it's going to be unfortunate if the rest of the mainstream industry does as well. So leave a comment. Let me know what you guys think of this news. It's a heartbreaker for me, but a lot of people have seen it coming. It's unfortunate. Leave a comment. That really helps us out. If you guys haven't already, please subscribe. I'm a writer myself. Like I said, we are putting out Magic Cop this August on Indiegogo. So go to zaidcomics.com, get more information on that. You can read a free 12-page pilot issue that we did for Magic Cop. And there's a lot of exciting things going on in CG and indie comics. So follow me on Instagram so you can see all this Magic Cop fun and the rest of the stories we are working on. And we will catch you next time.